Well, obedience is not the most popular word these days, but in 1 Samuel 15:22, the Bible says, obedience is better than sacrifice. In other words, we can live sacrificially by tithing, giving to the poor, and so on. But the big question is, can you be told what to do? Are you teachable? Many people don't like to be told what to do. There are certain attitudes and spirits that you simply cannot teach. You can't teach an arrogant spirit. You cannot teach a know-it-all. And you can't teach someone who's defensive because they're always defending. They have a defensive spirit. You cannot teach a proud spirit, yet a humble spirit cannot remain unteachable. Concerning obedience, the condition of our spirit is critical. How easily can you be told? Unfortunately, sometimes the older you are, or the further you go in life, the more successful you become, or just in general, people can become increasingly resistant to receiving counsel. I have a friend with whom I get together regularly over breakfast. And whenever we are both in town, we both live extremely busy lives, and so it's a rare chance for us to get together. We have very different worlds, but we have the kind of connection where we can speak openly and honestly to one another about our respective lives. I greatly value this friendship. It has helped me navigate so many difficult seasons through the years. Who have you allowed to speak to right into your life? It's not about listening to every opinion that will only confuse you. It's about allowing trusted people to speak honestly to you. Mark 10 talks about a rich young ruler who had been living sacrificially by the commandments. That's a tough guy to teach. He was rich, not used to being told what to do. He was young. Only thing harder than telling a young person what to do is to try to tell an old person what to do. And he was a ruler. He was used to being in charge. But when Jesus told him what he needed to do, he didn't like it. In verse 21, it says, then Jesus, looking at him, loved him and said to him. Think about that for a moment, because who do you allow to love you enough to look you in the eye and tell you not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear? Sadly, this young man would not receive what Jesus said to him, and he went away sorrowful. In other words, he went away that way. That literally was what would frame his future, and we never hear about him again. A right spirit is humble enough to remain teachable. Compare that man with Moses, a leader of millions of people and used to being in charge, and yet in Exodus 18, it describes how his father-in-law Jethro brings correction and instruction. In verse 17, Jethro says, the thing that you're doing, Moses, is not good. In verse 24, it says Moses did everything. He heeded the voice of his father-in-law and did all that his father-in-law had said. Moses had a teachable spirit. I wonder how teachable you are. Do you interpret things to suit yourself rather than learning the power of obedience? If you just won't be told, then you'll sabotage your own future. All of us need people sometimes who will save us from ourselves.